Clippers get 28 from Kawhi, 17 from Big Zoo, along with 10 rebounds. He's got 19 double-doubles since the All-Star break. 21 and 10 from James Harden, who finished with a double-double. 3 assists from Kawhi, 6 assists from Ivica Zubac. Everybody played except Patty Mills for the Clippers. They shot 52% from the field, continuing the hot shooting from March, where they led the NBA. Meanwhile, for New Orleans, 98 points in this one. They go 4 of 22 from 3. Finish the ball game with 5 players in double figures. Make it 6 after that Jamal Cain dunk. Kane, Makovich with Alvarado, Reeves, Olenek, and Bruce Brown. Well, for Carlo Jimenez, our engineer, Big Brother Jake Warner, our statistician, Blake Boyer, and the one and only Adam Oslin, who's got you next. Clippers get it done against the Pels, 114-98. See you on the flip side. Hoosier Clippers Audio Network.
All right, Clipper Nation. In a March Madness-like theme, survive in advance. Wasn't the prettiest. Clippers look lethargic. That's okay. They still won by 16. Kawhi still looked incredible. Plenty of positive still. And we know the Pelicans have had their number.
No team has had a better winning record against the Clippers since 2021 season.
Did you say 16 of 20? What was
12
it?
of 16.
12 of 16.
Crazy.
Disgusting. I like it, Brian. Any win over the Pelicans is a good win. (2020) or 2021 or the 2021 season?
2021 season.
What up, chat? How you guys feeling? You like the Oluzawan moves?
That was a game that occurred. And now it is over.
Like, we'll remember this game forever, okay?
Sometimes you just got to win and advance.
Yep. Kawhi looked great.
Man, they move the ball really well.
The Clippers?
Yeah. Only 40 makes, but 27 assists.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah, they had... I remember that Batum miss on some great ball movement. They had some plays where they didn't finish, but it was some good ball movement. I'm not going to complain too much, guys.
Stop complaining, Adam.
I said too much. But I will still complain. Nah, it's all good. Win over the Pelicans. Look like everybody exited healthy. We'll take it. Back-to-back this weekend.
See you, Blake.
Clippers win over the Pelicans 114-98. They've won 9 of their last 10 games here at Intuit Dome and make it 12 of their last 15 games overall. Welcome into your postgame show. I'm Adam Osland, live from the Dome. The Dome is home. Coming up, second half highlights, your postgame box score, and Clippers talk on the Patriot AM 1150. But first, we head back over to your radio voice of the Clippers in Carlo Jimenez. Carlo, we talked about it a little bit off air, but in a game where the Clippers looked understandably a little bit tired coming off that big road trip, being on East Coast time, as you pointed out. Slow start to this one with just 22 points, but they still end up at 114 And some of the ball movement in the second half, especially, was some real hot potato being played by the Clippers out there.
Yeah, impressive stuff by this team. 27 assists on 40 made field goals. Somehow, Adam, they only shoot 76 shots, which is awfully low for an NBA game. But the Clippers are able to get it done in this one and still put up 114 points. Maybe the reason why they shot 26 free throws in the ball game. You mentioned the ball movement. The Clippers really sharing the rock. 6 players score in double figures in this one. Impressive stuff by this Clipper group. And 2 of them with double-doubles in Ivica Zubac and James Harden. Overall, considering you're coming off a 9-day swing out east, good for the Clippers to get it done. Adam, last year, coming back from road trips that were in the Eastern time zone, the Clippers were 0-6 in their next game, which is why they have changed up the scheduling a little bit. Clippers now staying over the night of the last day of the road trip. You see why this leads to wins. You get a full day rest. Good job by the Clippers medical team to figure things out. Helps them get a victory.
I'd like to credit Intuit Dome, the Wall, and Clipper Nation a little bit too as well, just having their own home now. Kawhi Leonard feels at home, 28 points on 18 shots. He has been spectacular over his last Baker's dozens games right now. He just looks in a great groove, especially with the mid-range.
Unbelievable stuff from Kawhi, just safety valve type stuff. Man, he's shooting almost 50% from 3 his last 10 games. I think it's over 50% after this game. And then 11 for 18, efficient, aggressive. The biggest thing is the offense looks like it works, and the ball movement's still moving, and Kawhi's still getting his looks. There was talk about Kawhi's going to play around this current group. He doesn't want to mess up the flow. If anything, the flow has looked like it's flowing better with Kawhi on the hardwood. He's been able to be effective with the rock, knock down big shots. And then look at the minutes. 38 again for Leonard. I'm going to have to check, but post All-Star break at him, he might have 5 or 6 games with 38 or more minutes for this Clipper team. Just the ability to be available every single time. He talked to Christina Pink after last game, and KP was telling me about this, silent reporter for FanDuel Sports. I thought it was interesting. I'll share it with you, Adam. Kawhi said this year he's had to really lock in on mental focus and not the work, relying on the word. He says, I have to have the courage to trust that I'm going to be able to be effective, to be efficient without putting so much work in off the floor, because the medical staff and him have conversations about, look, you can't put all this load on your body. So Kawhi is entering this new territory where he's not allowed to have all the same reps off the floor and still being as efficient.
Yeah, it's like he has to figure out his timing now in live reps on the court during NBA games. I think that's why it took him a little bit longer this time around to get to this point where he's playing at an all-NBA level, really a top 5 level in the NBA right now with the efficiency you're seeing from Kawhi. He looks back to last year's version. James Harden with 21 points, 10 assists, and just 2 turnovers, had the big baseline floater and one late in the fourth quarter to give the Clippers a little bit more room out there, but also an efficient game from the Bearded Wonder.
Yeah, big-time game from him to be able to get those steals, 3 blocks, like you mentioned, being able to get to the free throw line, be efficient. Great stuff from the Beard in this one. 21 points for him, 34 minutes. Overall, Adam, Harden just looks really comfortable right now on the floor. It does not look like he's forcing much, seems to be in rhythm often, and still continues to be the initiator of a lot of the Clippers offense throughout the contest. Big-time fouls on 3 attempts from him in this ball game. The NBA's best at drawing those plays. And then also, Adam, just calming things down at times. His efficiency, though, has been way up. His last 7 games, he's shooting nearly 47% from the field. That's 7% better than his season average at 40%. James Harden seems to have a little less of that pressure off of him, with Bogey playing really well, with Kawhi playing really well, and Zoo just, 20 straight double-doubles since the All-Star break is pretty unbelievable for Ivica Zubac. So great to see James Harden not have to do everything, but still be just as effective.
Lastly, we saw the starters with Bogey in place of Chris Dunn late in this ball game to close things out. Coach Lou riding the hot hand. Bogey had 9 points in the fourth quarter, all long balls. Very efficient 16 points from him in this one.
Big performance from distance. Just 1 of 6 against Orlando, but he bounces back with a 5 of 6 game here tonight at Intuit Dome, a place he has been comfortable shooting the ball 4 of 5 from 3, matching a season high, and in his last 17 games, shooting 50% from the 3-point line. I asked Brian Shaw pregame, what has changed with this offense? Why is the team averaging still today 51% from the 3-point or from the field, 42% from 3? And he talked about them playing an inside-out game, and that you might just think that Zoo getting assists. I think a lot of that is Bogdanovic driving and kicking, finding guys in the painted area, kicking it out, and getting space for shooters. The Clippers are creating an offense that allows them to use more of the floor at an efficient level, and the Clippers, it's paying dividends. They have continued to shoot the lights out, coming off one of their best shooting months in their really history as a franchise, and then just keep it rolling here in April.
You know, it's interesting. I was looking at the numbers the last 14 games coming into this one. Clippers were at the top of the league in three-point percentage, and they were also at the top where opponents were shooting. The Clippers during the last 14 games coming into this one were shooting 42% from 3. Opponents shooting 30% from 3. Wow. Well, tonight, Clippers go 13 of 32, 41% from the outside. Pelicans just 4 of 22. So it looks like it's going to hold. And over the last 15 games, they've been on the right side in both categories. It's happening at the same time.
And look, if you keep that up, good luck. Opponents shoot 30, Clippers shoot 42. Obviously, it's not going to stay at that mark. Teams will start knocking down open shots. But overall, the team's process on both ends is operating at an elite level. They are executing right now very, very well. You talked about how since Kawhi's come back, turnover numbers have been down. The one blemish in this ball game is probably the rebounds. But outside of that, Clippers play a near perfect game against the Pelicans. And Dallas is not going to be a layover. They are about 2 games up on Phoenix. That will be a very tough back-to-back. We'll see which one Kawhi plays, which one Anthony Davis plays. But I have a lot of faith in Ivica Zubac, who gave AD 20 and 19 earlier this season. Expect him to play huge roles in that game. We'll see if Gafford and Lively are also back. Big, big games. These back-to-backs, Adam, are the places where I think Clipper fans, if you're going to feel like must-wins with the pressure, it's these 2 against Dallas and then the San Antonio-Houston back-to-back. It begins the final stretch to the end. See if the Clippers can run through the tape.
So that time of the year, Clippers trying to stay out of the play-in. Tonight they win 114-98 over the New Orleans Pelicans. While we have a moment, let's pause 10 seconds for station identification here on the Los Angeles Clippers Audio Network. Clippers back-to-back this weekend, Friday and Saturday, here at Intuit Dome against the Dallas Mavericks. Tip-off Friday at 7:30, pregame show starting at 6:30. Carlo Jimenez, great call. Let's do it again on Friday night, huh?
Woo, we got one more on Friday night. It's Saturday, Sunday. What? Here we go. Let's do it. Let's go. Right? Jake knows that song, right? A little EDM house music. It's Friday night. It's
I thought we were going Montel Jordan or Rebecca Black or something.
Oh, Friday. Look out, Adam. I'm Deboing you on Friday.
Karaoke Carlo is here, guys. Look out.
Let's go.
Clippers win 114-98.
My body clock says it's 1 a.m.
over the New Orleans Pelicans. Coming up next, more from Carlo Jimenez in highlight form right here on the Los Angeles Clippers Audio Network.
Thanks, Daniel.
Cool. Thank you. Did you say 9 days on East Coast time?
Yes. My gear that I didn't set. That was brutal today. Today was rough. First quarter was like the whole game. Nothing exciting happened.
What is Daniel talking about? No more Ben Simmons moving forward. Ben has been solid. He didn't have a great game. Okay. What's his assist to turnover ratio? 4-1 as a Clipper? And he has switchability defensively. I mean, I don't think he's lost all of his athleticism. He actually had a goaltend tonight, getting up to block a shot. We'll update you guys on the standings coming up here. Oh, Toby's back. Clippers win 114-98 over the New Orleans Pelicans here at Intuit Dome. Clippers have won 12 of their last 15 ball games. They are surging with just 6 games left here in the regular season. 4 more games left here at Intuit Dome, as this was game 1 of a 5-game homestand. I'm Adam Osland. This is your Clippers post-game locker room show. Coming up, we'll have Clippers talk for you. But first, let's get to your second half highlights. Clippers at the half up by 12 with a score of 59-47. In the third quarter, Chris Dunn knocking them down from 3. Chris Dunn with those 6 points on those 2 3-pointers made in the third quarter. Clippers led, though, by just a score of 83-72 heading into the fourth. Speaking of threes, how about 3 from Bogdan Bogdanovic in the fourth? He would finish with those 16 points, 9 of which came in the fourth quarter on those 3 threes as the Clippers would pull away. Lead by as many as 20, win 114-98 by 16 over the Pelicans. Coming up next, your final box score. I'm Adam Osland here at Intuit Dome, and you're listening to the Los Angeles Clippers Audio Network. I'll do the giveaway with the shirt, guys. Since the medium wouldn't fit me either, but this makes a hell of a giveaway.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. I've been gathering stuff to give away during the off season, actually. That's when I think I'll do a lot of this stuff. So you guys want the Lakers to beat Golden State tomorrow? Big Zoo is the People's Defensive Player of the Year. The Ball Knowers Defensive Player of the Year. I knew it. Memphis would drop into the plan. Good show. Clippers win 114-98 over the Pelicans here at Intuit Dome. Welcome back. I'm Adam Mosland. Clippers end up shooting 53% from the field, 13 of 32 from three. That's 41%. Meanwhile, the Pelicans just 4 of 22 from the outside. That would be 18%. They were at 51% from the floor. Clippers 13 turnovers to 8 points for the Pelicans. Pelicans 17 turnovers. Clippers turned that into 25 points. The Pels did have 74 points in the paint. Clippers 46. Second chance points. Pelicans 17. Clippers 3. Fast break points. Clippers 13. Pelicans 8. Clippers led by the Claw. He had a game high 28, 11 of 18 shooting, 3 of 5 from distance, had 7 of his 28 points in the fourth quarter. Lethal in the mid-range, and also knocked down a 3 on the right wing that pretty much put this game out of reach. I believe that put him up by 20 in the fourth quarter with about 5 minutes left off a screen from Ivica Zubac. James Harden with 21, 10 assists, just 2 turnovers, 7 of 14 shooting, only 1 of 6 from the outside. He also hit an and one baseline fadeaway, or a little baseline, push shot, floater on the right baseline late in the fourth quarter, helping the Clippers out. But bogey ball was happening in the fourth with 9 of his 16 points, 3 made 3-pointers in the fourth quarter. Clippers needed all of them. Ivica Zubac was 17 and 10. It was too close for comfort, but the Clippers eventually pulled away. Got up by 20, won by 16 here at Intuit Dome over the Pelicans. Outside of Los Angeles, we are leaving you until Friday night. Clippers taking on the Dallas Mavericks on the front end of a back-to-back against them right here at Intuit Dome, Friday, Saturday night, 7:30 tip. Pre-game show starting at 6:30 in LA. Do not go anywhere. We got Clippers talk coming up next. Can you add 2 minutes so I can go to the bathroom here for Daniel? All right, thank you. Sorry, chat.
He had to take a tinkle, Chad.
I heard Jake had it covered here.
I didn't even have the mic on, bro.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, these sinuses are kicking my butt.
Clippers slay the beast, the dragon, the Pelican. They get a victory over a team that has had their number and had won 12 of the last 16 games between these two. Clippers win at Intuit Dome 114-98 over the New Orleans Pelicans. I'm Adam Osland. Welcome into Clippers Talk. 877-520-1150 if you want to get on. 877-520-1150. Clippers ended up winning by 16, led by as many as 20. Got 28 from Kawhi Leonard on 11 of 18 shooting, 3 of 5 from the outside. The claw looks incredible. Masterful. I will say his defense wasn't quite as good tonight. He only had 3 rebounds, but offensively, he looks as efficient as ever, going back the last dozen games or so. He's been special. And the right wing three-pointer he hit in the fourth quarter sealed the ball game off a screen from Ivica Zubac. That would put them up 110-90, and it was over, ladies and gentlemen. Now, it was a game that we characterize as too close for comfort. Because it's the Pelicans, because they're without CJ, Brandon Ingram's in Toronto now, Zion was shut down, DeJounte Murray's out, Herb Jones is out. They're missing quite a few guys. Jose Alvarado, Grand Theft Alvarado, did have his patented move late in the fourth quarter, got a steal on James Harden. Did have 17. Led them with 17. 0 of 5 from 3, and thank goodness for that because the Pels overall were 4 of 22 from the outside. I talked about it yesterday in a tweet, but the Clippers, this may surprise you, over the last 14 games heading into this one, hottest shooting team from 3, while opponents were shooting their worst percentage against them over those 14 games. And it held up tonight. Clippers 13 of 32, that's 41% from 3. They've been averaging 42% the last 14 games. The Pelicans 4 of 22. That's 18%. Opponents had been shooting just 30% against them the last 14 games. So far, so good. I don't know how long that's going to be sustainable, where at the same time, while the Clippers are the hottest shooting team from 3, over a 15-game period now, the opposition is at their worst against them from 3, over a 15-game stretch. Those two things happening at once, that's part of the reason the Clippers have won 12 of their last 15 games now. But their defense has been good. Their offense has been humming. There were some really good possessions with some hockey assists from James Harden in the fourth quarter where the ball movement was on point. There were some times where the ball movement was on point where the Clippers couldn't finish it with a made basket, but it was still good process. They had 27 assists on their 40 made shots. They only got up 76 shots. They did get to the free throw line a bit, 21 of 26 there. I still didn't like the way they came out in this ball game. And I think Coach Lou might echo this post game. I'm not saying it was unserious basketball, but it was uninspired basketball to start. They were down 4-0. I think they went 3 of their first 13 from the field. Chris Dunn, though, ignited them with a couple of steals that got James Harden some easy ones. By the end of the first quarter, it was still 22-16. Too close for comfort. Now, the typical second unit lineup with Kawhi leading them to start second quarters and fourth quarters were very good in the second quarter again. They went +4 in 4 minutes and 5 seconds. I'm talking about Kawhi next to Bogey, DJ, Ben Simmons, and Nico Batum. That's what Coach Lue was rolling with to start second and fourth quarters. And the numbers have been good. They were only at 22 minutes heading into this game. They will have added about 8 more minutes, so they might be at 30 now. And they were good to start that second quarter. Batum would hit a 3-ball. They're up 29-20. Felt like they were starting to assert themselves or assert their dominance. Kawhi had it going in that second quarter. And one on a jumper where you get the friendly roll on the near side mid-post. Kawhi again, right elbow mid-range. It's 34-24. Kawhi 3. Clippers up 37-24. But the Pelicans, too close for comfort. They weren't going anywhere. Even with Kawhi, I believe having, let me double check on this. I think 9 in that second quarter. Make it 13. It was still a 12-point game at the half. I wanted to see the Clippers up 20. I wanted to get greedy. I wanted to see them impose their will and finish this in the first half. But it was 59-47 at the break. Kawhi at 18. He looked very good. But the Clippers just weren't fully in sync, and I felt like we're getting by on talent a little bit. James Harden had 14 in the first half on 5 of 8 shooting. It was him and Kawhi going 12 of their first 18 from the field. They were kind of just out-talenting them. They were coasting at times, it looked like. Sleepwalking, going through the motions. They looked like a team that was lethargic after a hard-fought victory against Orlando in a very physical game to end that 4-game road trip. And Carlo brought up a good point, and he can speak to this. They were on East Coast time the last 9 days. So they were 3 hours ahead still. They might have been a little bit sleepy out there. It looked like it. At times, I thought they were doing the bare minimum out there against a bad Pelicans team, but that's probably overly harsh. In the third quarter, I thought they had another opportunity to step on the Pels' throat. Dunn hits a 3-pointer early. After he fell to the floor, I was a little bit concerned. But the lead was down to 5 at 62-57. Dunn hits another 3. Harden floater, okay. 10-point game. Kawhi, reverse layup and 1. But then Jose Alvarado gets fouled on a 3. Pelicans still hanging around. Dunn blocked Alvarado as he locked him up on a possession. But then he missed a floater on the other end. Norm hit a 3. Norm, his scoring was pretty minimal in this ball game. 4 of 11 in his 31 minutes. 11 points. It was sparse. He had 4 of those points, I think, in the second quarter. And he might have had the rest in the third quarter. Let me double check on that. Because I believe he only had, 4 points at the half. He exits with, a 5-point second quarter and then 2 more in the fourth. Zoo only got up 8 shots, but the Clippers only got up 76 shots total in this ball game. But Norm, he would have a floater after a 3-pointer in the third quarter. Nice little run from him. Bogey comes in for Dunn at the 4:19 mark. And Bogey ended up closing with the starters in this ball game. But by no means were the Clippers running away with it. It's an 11-point game. So they actually shaved a point off the halftime lead, the Pelicans, in that third quarter. There was some great ball movement where the Clippers just couldn't get it to go. Late in the third quarter, they were swinging it around the horn. Batum had an open look, couldn't get it. And it was good process. The result wasn't there, but eventually it was in this game, and I am happy about that. While the Harden shot clock violation play at the end of the third quarter left something to be desired, and the Clippers only leading 83-72, I still felt like they're in control, but it's too close for comfort. So to start the fourth, it's back to Kawhi, Bogey, Simmons, DJ, and Batum. That second unit lineup that went +4 in 4 minutes and 5 seconds to start the second quarter. I felt good about it. But Jamal Cain gets a spinning bucket on Simmons to start the fourth. It's a 9-point game. Okay, Kawhi midi on the right elbow, a fall away, restoring order. Then Batum has a steal, a bogey 3. Clippers are up 88-74. They look good. Timeout Pelicans. Cain gets a dunk out of the timeout. Cain was able to get a dunk out of the timeout. Kawhi misses a midi. Kawhi gets a strip on Keon Brooks Jr. I don't know why they challenged this because it was obviously off of his knee. The Clippers would eventually get the ball after a failed challenge by the Pelicans. Bogey hits a 3-pointer after the Clippers won the challenge. Ben Simmons has a goaltend on the other end. Then Kawhi has a turnover, and Bogey fouls Makovich on an and one. He would miss the free throw, but the Clippers are right back to being up 11 at 91-80, where they were to start the fourth. After it looked like that second unit with Kawhi was going to expand this lead, and the Clippers were going to run away with it, it's a 9-point game. After Elfrid Payton misses and Brooks has a putback dunk. Timeout Clippers, 91-82 after a Ben Simmons turnover. He didn't have a great game. Now it's Norm, Harden, Zoo back in with Kawhi and Bogey. So the starters with Bogey in place of Chris Dunn. And they would pretty much finish out the ball game. But Norm fouled on a long 2. I think it was Alvarado. Still a 10-point game. Then Harden has, and this is what I'm talking about with the passing and the hockey assists. He had a behind-the-back pass to Ivica Zubac, who got doubled, and Kawhi cut baseline for a reverse layup. Beautiful play. 95-82. Then Harden has the baseline floater and one. 98-84. Okay. Here come the Clippers. Zoo a right-handed hook shot. 100-86, first to 100. Clippers in full control now. Harden then, another hockey assist where he passed it to Kawhi under the basket. Quick pass back out to Bogey for 3, 103-88. Harden gets past Misi. He misses. Zoo put back 105-88. The Clippers are in complete control. And Kawhi with that 3-pointer on the right wing off the Zoo screen put him up by 20 at 110-90 with about 5 minutes left. This one was over. The backups were called in. It was with 3:25 left, that Kawhi 3. And the Clippers survive, advance. It didn't get too crazy with how things have gone against the Pelicans over this stretch where they had 112 in the last 16 games between these two. Clippers win 114-98. We'll take a quick timeout. We'll come back. We'll get to your phone calls. I'm Adam Osland, and this is Clippers Talk, live and into a dome after they beat the Pelicans. And you're listening to the Patriot AM 1150. Yeah, I like the way World D puts this. 8-game jet lag game. It was a bit irritating tonight, but they cranked it up enough to pull away in the fourth. I'm good with it. Fun to see Flowers, Christie minutes at the end. Yeah. Patrick Baldwin was out there. They've won 12 of the last 15. That's accurate, Cap. No cap on that. 12-3 of their last 15 games. Let's see what else we got here. Dallas is not going to be easy, that back-to-back, depending on when AD plays, depending on when Kawhi plays. I'm going to check for some post-game comments here from Coach Lou. Lon Murray's back on X, so that helps. I think he is. Clippers currently in the 7th spot, behind Golden State in the 5, Minnesota in the 6. Lakers play Golden State tomorrow. Do you want the Lakers to win and move up? Because right now they're in the 3 spot. They're still a couple games behind Houston. They play them once more. Clippers at 44 and 32. Yeah, it's a 3-way tie with them, Minnesota, and Golden State. Or excuse me, them, Minnesota, and Memphis, not Golden State. Yeah, and if Russ didn't smoke that layup last night, the Clippers would be in 6th. But Clippers are victorious. Back at home. There's no place like home. There's no place like the Dome, the Intuit Dome. Clippers win 114-98. I'm Adam Osland. This is your Clippers post-game show, Clippers Talk, here on the Patriot AM 1150. Remember, when the Dodgers are on AM 570 LA Sports, we will be here on the Patriot AM 1150. Kawhi leads them with 28 on just 18 shots. Looks incredible. His offense looks spectacular. And he cranked it up a little bit in the 4th quarter. He had 7 of his 28 there. He went for a rebound in a very aggressive manner when it came down to winning time, and he knew the Clippers need to pull ahead. Let's finish this thing off. There was an animated conversation with him and James Harden in the second half. I'm not reading too much into it, but it was just an extended conversation with Kawhi at the charity stripe. Harden came over. They talked for a while. I don't know what he was trying to get across. I'm interested if we get any post-game from our wonderful beat writers like Justin Russo, Tomer Zarley, Joey Lynn, La Murray of The Athletic. Justin Russo did say this at Fly By Night on X. The 22 three-point attempts allowed by the LA Clippers to the New Orleans Pelicans tonight are the fewest allowed by the Clippers in a game this season, and the fewest they've allowed in a game overall since they allowed 22 to Denver back in November 27th of 2023. That's interesting. I thought that was a low number. Just 22 three-pointers attempted. Maybe it was low because New Orleans only hit 4 of them. Let's get out to Tejas in Walnut. Tejas, you got 30 seconds here, my guy, because people in the chat aren't going to be able to hear you. Dunk came out, though, and Bogey came in. So DJ, Bogey was the first guy off the bench, I believe, tonight. Zoo didn't come out when Dunk came out, but I get what you're saying. True. Well, I asked Coach Lou pregame about it, and I'll have the audio for everybody tomorrow. You got something else, though, here, Tay, just quickly? All right, Tejas, I appreciate the phone call. He says it wouldn't shock him if Kawhi plays a back-to-back because there has to be a sense of urgency, but I think you have to prioritize health over everything else. I don't know. We'll see. I guess it wouldn't shock me either. I just don't know if that's going to end up being the case. And like he said, he thinks the chance is slim. So most likely not, but would it shock either of us? No. He did bring up the situation with Chris Dunn and DJ, and Dunn starting, even though the numbers say DJ has been better with the starters overall. So we're going to have a chat about that tomorrow with Justin Russo on, because he's also been looking at the numbers. And then I asked Coach Lou about it pregame, and I'll have that audio for you guys tomorrow, as that has been a big talking point, I know, with the fans and Clipper Nation. But I do think they're doing this the right way. This is a rational approach that they're taking. There is a method to the madness, or rhyme and reason to go what's going on with rotations right now with this Clippers team, and why Chris Dunn is still the starter. And Chris Dunn, by the way, guys, he ended up knocking down 3 of his 5 attempts from the outside for 11 points, 4 of 8 shooting. And if you look over the last handful of games now, he's had a few games recently where he's been better from 3, which is a huge sign. He went 3 of 8 recently, 2 of 5, 3 of 7, 1 of 1 in multiple games, 1 for 1, I should say. Like, he only shot 29% from 3 in March. But I think if you go back to January, he was at 40%. He's about 31% for the season. That's where he's at for his career. So that's who he is. That's what you can expect, I think. Now, he did have some hot shooting numbers on lower volume when he was with Utah. But again, the sample size just wasn't there. But he looked confident tonight. There was a play where James Harden passed it to him in the far side corner in the second half. Chris Dunn gave it back to James Harden on the right wing, and James said, "No, you're taking this shot." He gave it back to Chris Dunn. He knocked down a 3. So it's not just that he has the belief to take that shot. If he's looking like he's turning it down, his teammates are going to say, "No, we need you to take that shot, to hit that shot." That was a really encouraging possession. I think it happened early in the third quarter. So that is something I'm going to be monitoring, of course, because, look, if he came out and the first 2 games of a playoff series is 2 for 11 or something like that from 3, I don't think he's starting game 3. Like, there will be a quick adjustment from Coach Lou because he does have so many options. But I think right now it's his job to lose, basically. Coach Lou likes what he brings to start games. Clippers win 114-98 over the New Orleans Pelicans, in a game where Kawhi Leonard has 28 in 38 minutes on just 18 shots and just looks so smooth with it in the mid-range. It's just effortless right now from Kawhi, as it has been for about a month. Law Murray called it. He said, "This is the checklist. This is the plan. By March, he should be playing at an all-NBA level. He should look like a superstar." He has. It's been about the last 15 games now. Kawhi's been dominant out there. He's looked like one of the best players in the game again. The reports of his demise, once again, greatly exaggerated. Kawhi ramps up and goes through the process of getting back to this level on his own time. He knows his body. And this time it took a little bit longer because we talked about it with Carlo Jimenez postgame. He has had to gain his timing and rhythm in game because he can't practice the way he used to. I did a show about this when he first made those remarks postgame. He can't practice the way he used to, which is just, I mean, he's one of apparently. I remember Patrick Beverly going down to San Diego to practice with him, and Pat Bev, known as one of the hardest workers, and he said, like, I thought I worked hard. Kawhi was at a different level, and that's how he's gotten to have this refined offensive superstar sniper game with his efficiency. He didn't come out of San Diego State like this on offense. He was a role player, defensive guy. He's put in the work. But that training, that wear and tear could be problematic for his right knee. Can't have it flare up. So I'm sure he's had to ramp down the training. That's basically what he said. But he has been playing significant minutes, as people are pointing out in the chat here. If you look over this last month, going back to the start of March, at just Kawhi's where he's been at workload-wise with his minutes out there in the game, well, tonight he's at 38 minutes. Orlando plays 39. Against the Knicks played 41. Against OKC played 40. Against Memphis played 37. 35 against Cleveland the first time. 36 against Atlanta. 36 against New Orleans in that game they lost on the road. 40 against Sacramento in the game he hits the game winner. 37, 37, 40. He's been averaging about a little over 36 minutes per game since the start of March. So cross your fingers and hope that every day he keeps waking up and feeling good. Because last season there was no warning or anything. It just flared up after a game in Charlotte. And it was April where he was out. The next game was in Sacramento. The game in Charlotte was March 31st last year. Next game, he's out after looking amazing. There was no warning signs, nothing, just flared up out of nowhere. When you've had that many surgeries and that many issues on that right leg, yeah, you just never know. So I've been saying since Kawhi came back, like, appreciate what you're seeing always. Because Kawhi Leonard's body, unfortunately, it has betrayed him before. But they talked about it all off season. We think we got it figured out. It's tricky with the swelling. They have a different plan. And part of that plan seems to be him not training the same way he used to. So it took a little bit longer to get his timing right in the mid-range. But it's right now. And there's only 6 games left here in the regular season. And if he's only playing 1 game on the front end or the back end of the back-to-back, that means he's only playing 4. We'll take a quick timeout. Clippers win 114-98 over the Pelicans here at Intuit Dome. I'm Adam Mosland, and you're listening to Clippers Talk here on the Patriot AM 1150. Did you bring me a water?
It was unopened.
This one?
Yeah.
This one is. This one?
The one I put to your right is unopened.
Thank you. Sorry, Daniel. What did you say? Got you. What up, chat? Taking care of business every day. That type of victory? I'm still looking for some post-game audio here. Some quotes coming out from Coach Lou and the players. We'll check Joey Lynn. Ooh. Joey, okay, we got some stuff here. I'll review some of the audio tomorrow. We'll have Justin Russo on. You'll hear what Coach Lou said pregame about Dunn versus DJ. Got it all for you. Clipper stock. Tomorrow around 12:30ish. Think I gotta run 10 miles first. Why are you shaking your head like that, big bro? You don't know what I ate today. Oh, I better run. Not a marathon, not a half marathon, just 10 miles. I run so I can eat. I like to eat too much is the problem, man. Clippers 114, Pelicans 98 here at Intuit Dome. Welcome back, Clipper Nation. Welcome back to your LA Clippers. The Dome is home. Game 1 of a 5-game homestand before they head on the road for the last 2 games of this regular season, where the Clippers only have 6 games left. So, post-game, I was looking for some quotes coming out. And Ivica Zubac has always had a clear understanding of how Clipper Nation feels when it comes to the disappointment of, the last 5 years and not getting it done. And he's just very relatable. So he said post game, and this is coming from Joey Lynn on X, at Joey Lynn, 2 N's and an underscore at the end. Apparently, the Clippers are very aware of their problems against the Pelicans. Zeus said, quote, every time I see the Pelicans on the schedule, I'm like, but we got one. We got one. I'm sure the next one is going to be easier. It's not the Pelicans. So I think what he's saying is every time I see the Pelicans on the schedule, I'm like, and now he's shaking his head. And now he's relishing in the fact that we got one. We got one. We beat them. I'm sure the next one's going to be easier. It's not the Pelicans. Anyone but the Pelicans. Yeah, so they know, too, the Pelicans have absolutely burned them. Kawhi Leonard, post-game, on watching the standings. Quote, they do enough for me. I do watch games, but for me, winning is whoever you put in front of you. So whoever it is, you got to beat them to win the ultimate goal. He said his teammates will tell him in the group chat or the locker room what went down around the league. What else would you expect from Kawhi Leonard there? that tracks. That's who he is. He lives in the moment. He's not going to catastrophize or worry too much about the future. I think he truly is. While it might be a sports cliche, take it game by game or one game at a time, I think that truly is how Kawhi lives. Honestly. Like, he is able to compartmentalize really well and just focus on what's important. Farbod Esenshari had this from Big Zoo postgame. On being considered for defensive awards this season, as the shirts were out, and I'll give one away. I might wait, though, till the postseason or till the off season. I got one for you guys. It's a medium. I'll give one away here on Clipper Stock at some point. Believe that, but may just wait. So they're trying to get the campaign going for Big Zoo for Defensive Player of the Year because he has been that good. What did he have to say about that? Quote, it means a lot. I haven't won many awards in my career. Kawhi was also asked about the Ivica Zubac Defensive Player of the Year shirts. He said, quote, he's been great on both sides of the ball. We made the shirts for a reason. That was from Farbod Esenshari. As I'm going through the list here, seeing what we got post-game. Clippers, again, they're in the 7th spot. They're tied record-wise with Minnesota and with Memphis. Minnesota has the tiebreaker over them, so they're ahead of them in the 6th spot. The Clippers have the tiebreaker over Memphis, so Memphis is behind them in the 8th spot. I think that's how that works. Is that how that works? Because I'm thinking they probably both have a better conference record than the Clippers. We'll take one more time out. We'll come back here. Clippers win 114-98 over the New Orleans Pelicans here at Intuit Dome. I'm Adam Osland, and you're listening to Clippers Talk here on the Patriot AM 1150. Hey, yeah, Yeah, I mean, Memphis has a better conference record. Minnesota has a better conference record. So I think that made sense. Golden State has one less loss. They're 44-31. Clippers are 44-32. Hence why Golden State's in the 5 spot. They play the Lakers in LA tomorrow night. Huge game. Lakers are 3 games back of the Houston Rockets, who are currently in second. Now the Lakers are in third because Denver lost tonight to San Antonio. They didn't play anybody. Russ got 30 in a loss to the Spurs and missed another layup. Denver's now 4-6 their last 10 games. That game last night was very painful as a Clippers fan, seeing them lose in double overtime, the Nuggets to Minnesota. That was consequential for the Clippers. I tweeted out at Follow Out of May, like, guys, this fourth quarter could very well decide the Clippers' fate. Playoffs or play in. Minnesota is pretty secure now. Their schedule is really easy. They have a great chance of staying out of the play-in. So it could be one spot between 3 teams. The Warriors, the Clippers, and the Grizzlies. Who, as predicted, the Grizzlies, they fell out. They're in the play-in. They're 8th. Who do they play next? Do they play Denver? No, they're playing the Heat tomorrow in Miami. Well, the Heat won tonight over Boston. I don't know if Boston was playing everybody because they really have nothing to play for. They won big, though, in Boston, 124-103. Clippers win 114-98 over the New Orleans Pelicans here at Intuit Dome. I'm Adam Osland. It is good to be home. Clippers return of a 3-1 4-game road trip, and they are now 9-1 their last 10 games here at Intuit Dome, I believe. It has absolutely been a fortress and a home court advantage, and the Clippers need to test that out in a 7-game series. Sure, if they get in the 7-8 matchup in a play-in and they have home court in that game, you feel good about it, especially if it's against Memphis. But you want to see this team in a 7-game series and see just how loud it can get in the newest arena and the best place in the world to watch a basketball game. I believe that fully. It confirms it every time I'm here. Still pinch myself. I'm Adam Osland. This is Clippers Talk on the Patriot AM 1150. Clippers win by 16 in a game where you just felt like the Pelicans were hanging around. John Malkovich would say. It didn't feel great considering the history between these two teams and how the Pels had won 12 of the last 16 against the Clippers and how the Clippers know this. Ivica Zubac spoke to the fact that the Pelicans have tortured them, no matter who they have, no matter who is available. So even in a night where they're starting Bruce Brown, okay, Kelly Olynyk, okay, Misi, Antonio Reeves, Jose Alvarado, they had shut down CJ and Zion, you still don't feel comfortable ever against this team. The Clippers exercised some demons, I think. They at least out-talented the Pelicans. I don't think the Clippers played their best by any stretch of the imagination. This wasn't some beatdown. The Pels had 74 points in the paint. But they did what they needed to do. They looked a little bit tired. First game back after East Coast road trip. Last 9 days, they're on East Coast time. There's an adjustment period. Carlo Jimenez could speak to it. He's on the trip with them. It's not nothing. You want to call it an excuse, okay, but it is an adjustment. So I think that accounts for some of the lethargy to start the game. They were slow that first quarter. And they're down 0-4. I don't think they scored the first 3.5, 4 minutes of the ball game. Or at least they were in single digits like halfway through the first quarter. I'm going to double check on this because I'm a maniac like that and I have to know. Yeah, at the 5:38 mark, they're down 10-8. It was an ugly watch. I said on X, this is the most 12:30 type of start to a game I had seen on a 7:30 tip in a while. The Clippers just looked stuck in cement. They made a little bit of a run after Chris Dunn got a couple of steals for them, and James Harden got a couple of easy ones in transition, and the wheels started to turn a little bit. But it was still 22-16 after the first quarter. It didn't exactly get a lot of distance between themselves and the Pelicans. Hey, you held a team to 16 points in the first, great. But you only had 22. So the Clippers never really took advantage or had some, 30-point lead in the first three quarters. They eventually had a 20-point lead with under 4 minutes left. It took them a while to really engage in this ball game. James Harden, though, finished with 21, 10 assists, just 2 turnovers. Postgame, he was asked about his connection with Ivica Zubac and said, quote, communication, time, elite playmaking. If it was Joe Blow out there passing it to Zoo, it wouldn't be as easy. I've been grateful and blessed to be in this league for a long time, and I've made a lot of big men money. He's done an unbelievable job of listening. That's the most important thing. And then him working on his own game and getting better is a key as well. So he gave both guys credit. Appropriately so himself. He is an absolute pick and roll master at the highest level that we've ever seen in the NBA. And he ain't lying about getting his big men paid. And he also gave credit to Ivica Zubac for working on his game and improving there. But yeah, James Harden is a offense unto himself. He is a system. And the system at times for this Clippers team. But another game where Kawhi Leonard leads them in shot attempts with 18. Harden's at 14. Dunn's at 8. He did get 11 points, went 3 of 5 from the field, but I sigh, not because that upsets me, but Ivica Zubac only got up 8 shots in 33 minutes. Dunn gets up 8 in 19 minutes. You know how I am about Big Zoo. Feed Big Zoo. Get him more opportunities out there. It only helps. Maybe they do go up big earlier if Ivica Zubac was featured a little bit more. He still finished with 17 and 10 and 6 assists. Like seeing that. He had a great assist to a cutting Derrick Jones Jr. for a dunk in the first half. Beautiful pass from Big Zoo. Clippers win 114-98 here at Intuit Dome over the Pelicans. Their next game on Friday. It's a back-to-back against the Dallas Mavericks here at the Dome. Starting Friday, 7:30 tip. Pre-game at 6:30. Before we get out of here, I do want to thank the Clippers organization, Ralph Lawler, Brian Seaman, Noah Eagle, Carlo Jimenez on the call. Good to see Carlo Jimenez tonight. Got to hang out with my guys, Carlo and big brother Jake Warner. Daniel West holding it down back in the bank. I'm Adam Moslin. We'll have a Clippers talk for you tomorrow with guest Justin Rousseau. We got some pregame audio from Coach Lou about DJ and Chris Dunn as we ask the question that you guys have been wanting an answer for, I think. We'll get into that. I'm Adam Moslin. Talk to you on the YouTube tomorrow at Clippers Talk. Love y'all.
All right, brother. Talk to you Friday.
Thanks, Daniel. Good show.